when it comes to, and it's quite funny because you might have gone to a hotel, right?
Yeah.
And we had that experience on the Gold Coast where like the shower head was literally at like 1.2 meter high, and I'm like, who sets that up,
Right?
You know?
You're literally like crouched on.
Yeah, that's it. So it's a bit of a workout to actually take a shower. So
Also, just to clarify, we had separate rooms.
we definitely had separate rooms. And we were just.
Hello and welcome back to the #1 home building podcast in Australia. So this week we are talking all things bathrooms and what we can do to really take your bathroom game to the next level. So before we kick off this podcast, as usual, let's introduce ourselves. Did you want to kick us off?
Sounds good. Chris Baptista, director of Homes by CMA, one of the largest and best builders in Queensland.
That's it. Love it. And I am Jaiden Peters. I am the marketing manager for CMA. So let's kick it straight off. What are some of the things that people should consider to upgrade or get in their bathroom?
Because before we even start on that, my thoughts was, and the reason for this podcast is, what sells a house? It's usually a kitchen and a nice bathroom. So this is the main reason for it, because there's so many things you can do in a bathroom and a kitchen, and that the kitchen podcast is going to be coming next.
For sure.
We thought we'd talk about it because there's literally so many things that I don't think people even know. So yeah.
That's it. So do you want to kick us off with the first item you think is a necessity in a bathroom?
So the first, and it's no specific order, but so we're going to run through the whole thing. But one thing that if you don't do it, you will get really annoyed is a shower niche.
Oh, right.
So because otherwise what you end up having is all your shampoos and everything on the floor. Yep. Mold, it just doesn't look good. You might trip on them.
Trying to use them is just an awkward time for all. When you're bending over trying to
That's exactly right. So so usually what we do is we have a shower niche on the wall that's on the side of where the shower head is, and the shower niche is simply there so that you can put your things. It's recessed onto the wall, and it's not on the floor. It looks great. So
100%. Game changer, right?
Yeah.
And what would you say would be another great thing to introduce?
So the shower niche can be somehow converted into a few options. So say you have a standard shower niche, which is say 300 high by 600 wide. Depending on your shower size, you could upgrade that, and how many shampoos and stuff you might have, obviously. You could upgrade that to 900 long.
That's it.
Which is a really good size, and you can have plenty of shampoos and stuff. It should all work. But the third option, which looks really, really good, is a shelf. So basically, you don't really have a niche, but it's more so a step into the wall, so that you have a full wall-to-wall shelf. And it looks good. It's practical, easy to keep clean, and you literally have a wall-to-wall shelf, I guess.
That's it.
Now,
and
the
plenty
only
of room
thing
for the shampoos.
Plenty of room for the shampoos, so you can load it up with the shampoos. But one thing to keep in mind is it usually doesn't work if you have, for example, a corner shower.
Yeah.
Because what you have to think about is you are going to get a step in the shower screen. So it can work, but the shower screen will cost you more. So if I had a corner shower, I probably wouldn't worry about a shelf. The shelf works when you have, 3 walls. So you have a long wall and 2 short walls, and that long wall is the shower shelf. So that's where it works absolutely perfect.
100%. Awesome. So you mentioned it there before, but another great thing is to play around with the type of shower frame that you're getting.
Yeah, so most builders, I guess, would have what we called a framed shower screen as standard. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. It works fine. And basically glass just surrounded by a sort of aluminium trim. That's what a framed shower screen is. So you can upgrade then to a semi-frameless shower screen, which, in my opinion, look 100 times better.
Yeah, right.
It just gives it that classy look. So what you have in a semi-frameless, as the word says, you have the aluminium on top and at the bottom, but you don't have it on the corner.
Sure.
So now, keeping in mind that the only downside about a semi-frameless shower screen is you will get a little bit of water coming out through that gap. You have one door, you have the return panel, you usually have, say, a 3-4 mil gap. You will always get a little bit of water that, I guess, drips out of there.
Yep.
That's the only thing to just keep in mind. And then the third option from that point, and again, keeping in mind that with any of those options, you can upgrade the color of your frame.
Definitely, yeah. That was what I was going to say.
Most common, obviously, are bright silver, which is the chrome, I guess, type of aluminium, and then the matte black.
Yeah.
Those are the two main choices, but you can also upgrade to a brushed brass. I wouldn't go brushed brass semi-frameless screen. It does look a little bit weird, and I actually never seen it. I don't think I want to see it. But for a frameless screen, a brush brass fittings would look great. So that's the third thing. The frameless screen. Frameless because it doesn't have a frame, so super easy. And you might think, well, it doesn't have a frame, so it should be cheaper. Well, no, it doesn't really work like that. So you go, in terms of price, you go framed, semi-frameless, and frameless. And the reason the price goes up is because the less frame you have around glass, the thicker the glass has to be.
Right.
Therefore, the more expensive the glass is. And in terms of frameless glass shower screens, you again have two options. So, for example, you have a corner shower and you want to have a door. You can have a fully frameless shower screen, and the door will have really thick hinges, again, chrome or black. And that's also why it's expensive, because those hinges are quite heavy sort of duty. But the other thing you can do, and that's another point we are going to talk about, is if you have, for example, a shower that's a decent size. So say if you have a 900 by 900 shower, I wouldn't recommend having just the frameless glass panel and having a walk-in shower because the water will get out quite bad. But if you have, for example, a 2 meter long shower by 1 meter wide, you can have a 1.2 meter long frameless glass panel, and in my opinion, makes your shower look really expensive.
I agree.
So you have less glass, you don't have a door, so you don't have to open and close that door every single time you get inside, less cleaning, and it really looks boss.
That's it. Another thing I wanted to add on that too, a really cool feature is when you start playing around with the different types of glass you can get, whether it is a frosted glass or something like that as well. I think you can even get like a textured glass.
Oh, well, that's again another point. And again, we're going to do a house like that where you can have fluted glass too.
Yeah, that's
so where
insane.
the glass has like small flutes on there, so it's got a texture. And also, if we're talking about the frameless glass panel, you can even have the end curved.
Really?
So
I
again, if
didn't
you
know
got a
that.
few
Wow.
curves in your house and you're like, you want to make your bathroom pop and you want to match those curves, you can actually have that side of the shower screen curved, and it looks really, really good.
Yeah, very,
Really
very
good.
luxe.
And going back on that frameless type of shower screen, usually when people have this, now we're going on the floor of the bathroom, and not many people tend to think about this, but it's important.
Yeah.
You got to think about the steps.
It's true.
Are you a little bit older and you're worried that you might struggle if there's big steps?
Yeah, wait. So talk me through this, because we were talking about this earlier. Most builders have a step into
That's
the
exactly
bathroom.
right. So you go to 95% of display homes that is a two-story house or even a single story in a lot of them. And when you step from your carpet area to your bathroom, you will have a step that's about 50 to 60 mil thick with a really ugly aluminium bar. This is because they basically step up the whole bathroom and have what we call a screed to just level up the whole thing. People hate it. I've never seen someone that likes it.
I was like, why?
In my opinion, it's a trip hazard.
Yeah.
And it just looks really ugly. So I would check with your builder, is this something you're going to have? But if you've been to a display and that's what they have, this is what you're going to have unless you specify otherwise. How you specify otherwise is by ensuring that your bathroom, and here we're talking of a two-story house, that your bathroom has a fiber cement flooring so that you don't need that step. So that the guys can put a fiber cement flooring, they're waterproof the whole floor, and then all you have is the standard trim, which by the time you have carpet and by the time you have tiles should be pretty much flush.
Yeah, nice. Love that. So let's go back to the showers for a second. So there's a couple other cool features that people can get with their showers, And one of my things that I personally hate about showers is when they have that little lip that you have to step over to get into the shower.
Yeah, so that's the hob.
Yeah.
And that's so okay, so I'm trying to go back from the beginning. Whether you have, no matter what screen you have, you can change the hob.
Yeah.
The hob is basically, old school hobs are tiled. So basically, yeah, it's like a 70 mil high by 70 mil wide step that you see where your shower is.
Yeah.
And that's what we call a hob. The reason for the hob is so that it's all waterproof and it contains I guess the water in there, but it also means that the builder doesn't have to recess the floor or recess the slab and can build a screed. So the screed, getting very technical, but the screed is what a builder is going to do to fall the shower to the drain point. So that's the reason for the hob, so that then we can put a screed and so that all the water falls into that drain. You can't just simply lay tiles on a flat. It's not going to work. So the tile hob is the old school way of doing things. And that's just because, there's silicone everywhere and there's angles everywhere and it just gets dirty and moldy.
For sure.
The new way of doing things, like most builders would do this, is what we call a water stop streamline. A water stop streamline is a single, and also the thing about the tile hob is more waterproof issues. The tile hob is usually made of Hebel, and Hebel is a great product. However, because the hob is so small, there's only so much you can do to make it strong. So that's just a quick thing on it. But the water stop streamline is basically a aluminium bar that, again, if you have a straight shower, it's a straight bar. If you have a corner shower, it's a corner bar. But it's a single piece. So on that corner, there's no point where the water can actually escape. So what the waterproofers do is they Sikaflex that to the floor, they waterproof everything, and it's a fully sealed finish. Now, by the time you put your shower screen next to it, it sort of looks like it's part of the shower screen and looks really neat. So, but again, think of it. If you want to have matte black shower screen, make sure you have a matte black hob. If you want to have bright silver screen, make sure you have a bright silver hob.
Awesome. And how would people then graduate into the sort of recessed showers then, with the way it's a straight walk-in, there is no hob, there is no any of that. It's just
and again, we do this all the time and it's a great idea. So you don't want a hob, you want your shower and your floor to be streamlined. What you have to do is recess the shower floor. If it's a concrete slab, you recess the concrete slab, say 50 mil. So that then you can screed everything to that drain. If it's on a 2-story, what you have to do is recess the joist. The joist is pretty much your flooring on a 2-story house. So it goes flat, then it would get recessed 50 mil where the shower is. And then again, it gets waterproofed and you can screed everything to the waist and tile everything. Now, it's a little bit more expensive because you either have to recess the slab or you have to recess the joist. But what you can do is, and again, that works no matter what shower screen you have, is you can have then your shower screen sitting straight onto the tiles and you don't have a step. You might have a really small bar, you might have a really small lip because that's to comply with the waterproofing standards, but you don't have a step.
And it looks so good.
It looks so good. It works perfect as a handicap-friendly house. You might have a granny flat. You might have your parents that maybe are going to be in a wheelchair. You just don't know. Or you simply want it to look really good. And I think the hobless shower is definitely something that would good, particularly once you start going to the frameless shower.
I agree.
Because it just gives it that edge. You don't want to have a fully frameless shower with a hob. It looks a little bit funny.
I agree. Awesome. So is there anything else you want to touch on about the showers before we move on to our next?
Let me think. So no, I guess there's heaps of stuff that is related to the shower, but one of the things obviously is make sure that no matter who you build with, make sure they waterproof this really well. And I talk from experience. I've had houses that were built with other builders and the waterproofing was really, really bad. So make sure that everything's waterproofed. I would also possibly check what product they use. That's just me. I'm very particular. So I love the polyurethane products because it's flexible, as opposed to you may see sometimes some builders use a fiberglass type of mesh. Now, the problem with this is, and you got to think, houses move. You have a fiberglass mesh that is between your floor and your wall, which is where I guess it needs to be waterproofed. It's not flexible. So if you get movement, this may crack. So I would always insist on a flexible membrane so that you don't have an issue in 5, 6, 7 years, particularly if it's a 2-story house.
Awesome. I think that was great. So let's move on. So another great feature to incorporate into your bathroom is having some, like some funky mirrors or something, whether it's, like frameless mirrors or you got cool, shapes and stuff, whether it's an arch, a circle.
Yep. We said it so many times. There's some things where if you see it in a builder, you should just walk away, like we say. And a framed mirror, if you see that as a standard, I'm sorry, but you should walk away.
Yeah.
It's too old school. You don't want a framed.
If you're going for the 50s vibe, it might work.
If you're going for the 50s vibe, it's going to work. But otherwise, you want to insist on a frameless mirror.
Yeah.
Except, if you want a really cool matte black frame, that's a whole different story. But I'm talking the really ugly 45 bevel framed sort of mirror.
Yeah.
And again, it's cheaper because there's a frame.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want a frameless mirror.
Yep.
Then you can also have, which we do a lot, the round ones.
Yes.
And they look super cool.
Very cool.
Keeping in mind that you may have to consider your tiling depending on your mirror. If you have a rectangular mirror, tiling on the back is not necessarily important. But if you have a round mirror, I would possibly recommend that you tile at least the back of that mirror so that it's a really cool finish.
For sure.
So round mirrors, you've got LED mirrors, which looks stunning.
Amazing, yeah.
Again, we've done a video on Instagram. If you go in there and you check one of our walkthroughs,
it's one of our recent ones.
Yeah. There's a house with an LED, with two LED sort of mirrors, and I don't know. To me, it just makes the whole bathroom pop. It just looks insane, yeah. And particularly, again, you're a female. You're gonna put makeup on or something.
I was about to say, I swear it makes you look 100 times better. As
well, it depends. If you look ugly, it probably makes it even worse. But at least it's good to see your skin, and mainly for females or even males, when we shave, I guess.
Yeah, that's it.
Not that I've got a lot to shave, but it's good to see your face nice and clean, I guess. The LED strip around the mirror, and you can also build them. Yeah. You could have a rectangular mirror and you want a sort of LED strip around. All you have to do is just put a Polytech board at the back and just run a sort of LED strip. So it's super easy, even if you want to do that later down the line and you moved in and you want to spice up your bathroom. It's really not hard.
It's a great tip.
It's really, really not hard, and you will be surprised how just one light will change your whole bathroom.
I agree.
And create such a vibe and just make the whole thing just look really, really nice. Third option is a shaving cabinet, which I'm personally going to opt in my next house. I'm a little bit sick of seeing the stuff on the bench, the perfumes and stuff. So I thought, why not have a shaving cabinet? Everything is inside of the cabinet. The bench top is nice and clean. And again, talking about strip lights, you can put an LED strip light at the bottom, and you can even put an LED strip light on top.
Now
and then you light that on, and it's looking amazing.
That would
again,
look good.
There's a lot of stuff you can do. You might have a sort of electric toothbrush. So you could have a PowerPoint inside, and then you put your toothbrush in there, you close your door, and your bench is looking amazing.
100%. That's a great idea.
And I guess apart from that, that's pretty much all the options you have in terms of mirrors and all that. I can't really think of anything else. But yes, I would definitely say in terms of value and looks, the LED strip light would definitely make things... I love that sign. But the LED strip light would definitely make things look really, really good.
Awesome. So another thing to consider is obviously like your airflow and things in there. So things like exhaust fans are super important.
Yes, so builders have to comply with the ventilation code. So a wet area, so a bathroom, has to have some kind of ventilation. If you have no windows, you must have a exhaust fan. If you have a window, you don't have to have an exhaust fan. However, depending on the shower and where it's located, you may want to add one. They're quite cheap. But important to have a window, and if you don't, just make sure you have the exhaust fan. And again, if you have, for example, a fully frameless shower screen with no door, you may want to even add a IXL heat/exhaust. Because in winter, I guess it's Queensland, but I guess everyone's watching from all over Australia. So, you might be Melbourne and Sydney, it gets really cold. The heat lamp is quite cool because at least it heats up literally instantly, and it actually heats up pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
And also another thing, I wasn't going to talk about this, but it's a good point. The houses we build are bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So some of the en-suites we are building are literally, 4 meters by 3 meters.
Yeah, they're big. Yeah.
Why not add a ducted air outlet?
It's not a bad idea.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's winter, it's summer, you're calling your master bedroom, but why not cool or heat the ensuite.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So yeah, all you need to do is get the billet, you add an outlet. It's probably not going to cost that much. It's going to look pretty good. And, you know, again, it works really well. So another quick tip that you could do.
Yeah, no, very good idea. All right, so another game-changing idea that I think we can both agree on, and I feel like it's really clever to sort of mix and match and have a bit of fun with this, is floor-to-ceiling tiles.
Definitely.
So I feel like, you know, having floor-to-ceiling tiles, you can then play around the different colors, the different lay of the tiles, whether you go something a bit funky like a herringbone. We've even had people where they mix up, you know, the tiles where in their niche, so in between the niche.
Yeah, definitely.
Looks pretty cool, but I definitely think this is a great feature to have in a bathroom.
Completely agree. So you have a few benefits. You have the maintenance side of things.
And that, yeah.
Obviously, you don't have paint on the wall. So in terms of maintenance, grab a bit of Windex, you clean it off nice and easy. You have the looks. Obviously, it looks really, really good. And you can mix it up. Like you said, you know, you may have a Hamptons home. You don't necessarily have to go floor to ceiling everywhere, but you could just go the vanity wall and the shower wall. So that's one thing to know. You know, some people think, do I have to do the whole bathroom? You don't have to. You could just do your shower wall. You could just do your vanity wall. You don't have to do it all. And because usually it's priced per square meter, it's really going to be based on how many square meters you add. And then, like you said about colors, and I do have one thing that I thought I was going to say. Some people think that they have floor to ceiling tiles and let's just have one color on this wall, one color on this wall, one color on this wall, and one color on this wall. And, you know, we've tried that in the past. I've seen it. And my recommendation is stick with standard.
Yeah, the basics.
And we've, you know, even when we've built display homes and expensive homes, you know, we've tried it all. And usually you stick with the same floor tiles and wall tiles, or you may have one feature wall, and this is what's going to look the best. So sometimes you try harder, you think it's going to look better, but it doesn't.
I agree.
So yeah. And then also think about what sort of finish you want, you know. So usually when we go floor to ceiling, we don't have a cornice, so we square set. So you have your ceiling and the tile goes all the way up.
Yeah.
If you have a Hamptons home, you may want to add your cornice back on. I don't usually recommend it because I've never liked fixing cornice, not fixing, but gluing cornice on top of tiles. In terms of longevity, I'm not the biggest fan, but you know, if you have a very classic Hamptons type of home, it may work out, I guess. So yeah, and again, another point, and we've talked about this before. Most builders have a non-rectified tile, usually 400 by 400 as a standard. You want to stay away from that. You ideally want to have a rectified tile. The reason for that is it looks much, much better, and the grout lines are usually thinner. Therefore, there's less cleaning, which you really want to avoid in the shower, because the more grout, the more cleaning, and the more time you have to spend. So,
especially if you're going full floor to ceiling.
Especially for that, and particularly in showers. And again, you know, we could even take that a little bit further. And again, we've done it before. You may not even know about it, but epoxy grouting is another way. So there's a few things you could do too if you're worried about maintenance. You might be a little bit of a cleaning freak, and you have a few options. You could seal your grout. Go to Bunnings, get a penetrating sealer and seal your grout, or you can even have epoxy grouting. Epoxy grouting is grout that water will not absorb.
Yeah, wow.
And it's super cool. So you've got that on the floor, you turn your shower on, the grout are not going to change color.
Yeah,
it's actually, so it doesn't get dirty really unless you really have something that sits on it for like a long time. It will definitely be more expensive, but you know, you could just do the shower floor. It's more expensive because it's more expensive to buy, because obviously you have to mix epoxy with grout, and you really got, say, 20 minutes to spray that, to spread that. And then the cleaning is really, really painful. I would recommend not to try that because it's really, really painful. You got to be quick. So it's usually a two-person type of job. One sprays the grout and the other one cleans really quick. But it's super cool because, the grout doesn't get dirty. It doesn't get wet. Great add-on. And you will find that a lot in pools. You can't use normal grout in waterline types tiles, so you have to use an epoxy grout, and it lasts much longer. It looks much better, but it's a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, there you go, man. You're on fire with these tips today, huh?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm thinking some people. I know I'm a bit of a clean freak, and I know like the shower is usually the area that is a little bit annoying. So you know, why not throw another tip?
That's it. That's it. All right. So another great product that I think just elevates in terms of like just making your bathroom look modern is the wall hung vanities.
Definitely, wall hung vanities are. I mean, they just look so good,
Right?
Yeah. What is a wall hung vanity? Because we say that, but most people may not
true,
know.
true.
Usually, a vanity will have a kickboard, so basically they go all the way to the floor. A wall hung vanity is going to be, like the term says, hung on the wall, and usually have a gap at the bottom.
Sure.
It looks super trendy. Again, if we talk about lighting, you could even add an LED strip light. Even if you don't want to get your builder to do that, just get your builder to add a power point in the cabinet. Go to Bunnings, grab a $50 strip light, plug that in, do a hole in your cabinet, stick the LED strip light. Your bathroom is going to look $1 million.
That's it. No, great idea.
So yeah,
Another tip.
another tip.
Oh, that's great.
And it's good to clean. I mean, yes, to a certain extent you have to go under, but at the same time, it's a clean finish.
Yeah.
And it just looks nice. So yeah.
That's it. The only downside I guess I can really think about the wall is you do lose a bit of cupboard space, but it's really not that much.
It's true. You do lose a little bit of space, but yeah, not that much. Yeah. And that's another point too. A lot of people think, a vanity needs to have doors. You can also have drawers. Obviously, watch the waste of your basin because obviously the water needs to escape. So there's a pipe. So usually you might put drawers on the side if it's a single vanity, or you might put drawers in the middle if it's a double one.
Yeah.
But drawers are a great space. Again, you may have perfumes and things, and drawers are really practical to put all those things in.
Awesome. So in a bathroom, cabinets aren't the only thing you can actually mount on the wall. Another great idea is to actually mount you can have wall-mounted tapware. You can have...
You know what I was thinking? I thought you were going to talk about a tower rail for a second. And I was like, where do you want to mount that?
Yeah, if you mount them on the roof, they look quite good these days.
Anyway.
But yeah, your tapware look really, really good when you have them on the wall mounted as opposed to on your sink or on your bed.
Mounted. Very trendy. Again, a little bit more expensive, but it just looks so good.
I agree.
And another advantage, and people will know that, and again, coming from a little bit of a cleaning freak, you have your basin, the mixers on top. All around that basin is where the wall is going to collect and stay, and where it's hard to clean. You don't have that issue with a wall-mounted tap. So, super good and looks really, really nice. Make sure that depending on the wall-mounted taps you want, you will have to adjust your basins. So this is something to take into consideration. And just think about everything. You got to think from the heights.
Yes.
If you want to put a shaving cabinet, you have to leave quite a bit of space. So just consider basin and taps not just one, because they have to work with each other.
For sure. And what's sort of like the general sort of rule with the wall mounted taps? Do they sort of have it where the spout is sort of pouring the water at the end of the basin? Is it in the middle?
Usually, so first of all, we try to always line the spout with the center waist of the sort of basin, and then the mixers on the side. But usually you want to have that spout a little bit further back, just so that you have space to actually put your hands under, because otherwise you might get a really long spout and you can't even put your hands under, or the tap has to be too high, so it's gonna look pretty shit. So think about all this and try to, and some people, we've had that in the past, they might want to wash their head in there. Think about this, because if you want to put your head under there, you have to get a small spout and you have to raise the taps up, because otherwise most builders are not going to set it up so that you can put your hand under. And again, just talking from experience and what we had, I guess.
And it's not just like your bathroom tapware you can play with. You can play with like your shower heads and everything like that. Definitely. If you want like the ceiling sort of rain heads and stuff, they look amazing. If you want to get double or dual shower heads,
that's exactly right. And it's another good point. Again, nobody usually thinks of that, but you have a shower. Have you thought about where you might want your mixer? Some people have a huge shower, and then you have the shower head here, and most builders would put the mixer right next to that shower, but that means that you have to go all the way here, and then you have to play that game. You have to play that game where like you got to flick that mixer and just run back really, really quickly.
That's it.
So you can move mixers around, so you just have to be specific and tell your builder. So again, you have a really like a 2 meter long shower and the shower heads at the end, you can put the mixer centered at the bottom of the niche.
Perfect. Yeah.
And then you don't have to take the risk of getting wet when
There's
you
no need to
turn
play
on your
games.
yeah. There's no need to play games. So yeah, that's it. So but yeah, and again, there's plenty of choices in terms of mixers and shower heads from. Most builders would have as a standard, obviously, the standard rail. It's just like a chrome rail that's on a wall with a single shower head.
Yeah.
And again, be specific in terms of height.
Yeah.
You may be, I guess, 1.8 meter tall. You may be 2 meter tall. If you don't tell your builder that and it's not specified on the plans, the builder is going to assume that it's just a normal height. So I would always be specific in terms of the height, and particularly when it comes to, and it's quite funny because you might have gone to a hotel, right?
Yeah.
And we had that experience on the Gold Coast where like the shower head was literally at like 1.2 meter high, and I'm like, who sets that up,
right?
You know?
You're literally like crouched on the
yeah, that's it. So it's a bit of a workout to actually take a shower. So
also, just to clarify, we had separate rooms.
we definitely had separate rooms, and we were just invited by supplier.
That's it.
And we had the whole team out there.
Yeah.
But and same thing, so you can upgrade from the standard rail to the twin shower head. So the twin shower head has both the standard rail and then it has an arm and an overhead shower.
Yeah.
What's good about this is, first of all, it looks really cool.
Yeah.
And then I guess because the shower head is so big, it just like, it's called a rain shower because it sort of looks like it rained.
Yeah.
Now, advice for the females out there. Sometimes, a lot of people may have just a shower head, like a rain shower head with no rail. And I know females will hate it because you pretty much have to get your to get your hair wet every time you jump in the shower. So I would always recommend to have the twin shower because it's a lot more practical. Super easy to install, and it just looks really, really good. I don't know, I think we charge $349 to upgrade. It's worth every single dollar, in my opinion. And again, you can go chrome, you can go black, brush brass. There's plenty of colors to pick.
I totally agree. And another thing that is probably like the least glamorous side, I guess, of the bathroom, but it's something to definitely think about is what type of toilet do you have?
Yeah.
Do you have like a standard toilet? Do you want your toilet to be recessed so the back of it is, back to wall sort of toilet? There's so many options. What color?
That's it.
All these things.
Yeah. So standard toilet, as the name says, is just standard, and a standard toilet has a gap at the back, which is where the back to wall toilet comes from. A back to wall toilet is the same really, but the ceramic goes all the way to the back, so you don't have that gap. It's cleaner, it looks nicer, but yes, it's a little bit more expensive. That's exactly right. So that's a back to wall toilet. If you really want a super clean look, you can have a toilet is going to have the tank, that big thing at the back where you press that button is the tank. So that's where all the water is. So you can have an in-wall cistern. So you can have the tank inside of the wall. Again, more expensive, but it does look pretty cool.
I agree.
So that's a third option. Another option to discuss that I just thought about it now is a lot of people have the sort of bidets in there.
Yes.
Pretty much, I guess a side tap that is used for sort of cleaning, whether it's European and all the Asians sort of countries. Now, this is a little bit tricky and it's very specific to the plumbing regulations in your area. You can't just simply put one on, and because what happens is, as a home builder, we have to do a plumbing inspection. A plumbing inspection in Queensland anyway is done by council.
For sure.
If they see this and we haven't put the right valves, it's going to be failed. So very important, if you really want this, have a chat with your builder. You can always retrofit it, and you haven't heard this from me because you shouldn't. And the long story short behind it and why, and again, it's getting a little bit technical, so I'm going to be very quick. But it's like a shower. It may say if there's water, it may actually get dirty water into the system.
Yeah.
And that's where the problem is. So you might actually contaminate the whole system, which is why there's usually a valve that is stopping this. So that's where if you really want this, have a chat with your builder. He may need to have a chat with his plumber and the local plumbing authorities. And usually we can make it work. Sometimes we can't, but just have a chat with them. So
Awesome.
It is an option.
Now, we're talking about bathrooms, but we haven't talked about the elephant in the room, the bath.
Yeah, the bath is sure. I'm like, what? What is it?
So obviously, most builders in that will offer a bath as standard, whether that's sort of, built in and everything like that. For ourselves and a lot of them, we offer a freestanding bath. And then from there, again, you pretty much have free roam of what size you want.
Spas, plenty of choice,
Right? What, shape?
Yeah, that's exactly right. The trick is, I've never been a fan of built-in bath for the reason that if there's a scratch or if there's something, it's extremely hard, not just once you move in, but also during construction. It's very hard to get a built-in bath looking brand new because it has to go through the whole construction.
Definitely. Yeah.
Usually a built-in bath is installed at frame stage, so you can imagine all the trays that are coming in and out and, hopefully, they might put a dent in it and you got to replace it and it's a pain.
Yeah.
People usually get a built-in bath because they don't want to have to clean behind a freestanding bath, which, again, it's not too bad. You can just have a mop. That's what I do. I've got a mop. Yep. I go at the back and it's pretty easy. But a lot of people don't think that you can get a freestanding bath, which is back to wall. Like the toilet, the freestanding bath goes all the way back to the wall, so you don't have a gap at the back. So you get the advantage of both built-in and freestanding.
Yeah.
And the great thing about a freestanding bath is you can always replace it, and it's super easy. And from a builder's point of view, we tile everything and we install that bath only at the end. So your bath is absolutely brand new, no scratch, and it looks beautiful. So then a freestanding bath can come in multiple things. It can come in, most popular is this oval shape, which is what we have as a standard. But you can also get round ones. And we're gonna do a house with we're gonna do 2 houses with a round one. Not necessarily that much more if you go to the right shops, and they look super cool.
I agree.
It's a bit like a mini swimming pool in your sort of bedroom. Bathroom. And then you can even go to the spa. So the spa usually will be a little bit more because you have to think of the pump and all those things. And another thing that you can also do is, so usually you have your freestanding bath and you have your mixer and your spout, you obviously fill it. But you can also have, instead of a wall-mounted spout, you can have a freestanding spout.
Yeah, they look so good.
And they look really, really good. So freestanding spouts, yes, are going to be more expensive to buy, probably close to $1,000 plus. They look really good. But it's a little bit more work from a builder's point of view. If you have a slab, we need to run the conduits in the slab. If you have a 2-story house, we need to make sure we run everything in the flooring. But they look pretty sick. Again, chrome, matte black, and brushed brass. It looks absolutely stunning. And you could even have a shower head that is attached to it too. Some people might have a bath, or you may have kids and you just want to have a shower head, and some of them come with one too.
It's a good idea. So, good idea. Awesome. So that's almost bringing us to the end of the list. There is another thing that I wanted to mention as well, which is the tile waste. So having smart tile waste as opposed to those shitty looking drains that you would often see in your bathroom, whether it's in your shower or in the center of your bathroom, you usually have those drains with the grates. Just swapping it out and having a tile waste, which essentially is exactly that. It's a drain that's been tiled over, so it looks pretty much flush with the floor. It looks really, really good. Only downfall I can think is maybe like women's hair and stuff. It's a little bit.
There's pros and cons to both. Yes. Yeah. Now the standard grate, which is usually a chrome, it's a chrome-plated brass product. Yeah. The only problem you have with this is no matter how well you maintain them, after quite a few years, it will start to not look great. Yeah. Again, you might have been in a hotel. Those floor wastes are usually black now by that point because they've been scratched. They've been cleaned with really harsh products.
Chemicals.
They look shit. So yes, a smart waste, which is a waste with a tile insert, is a bit more expensive. However, in the long term, it will look much, much, much better, and it's easier to keep clean. But yes, usually those smart wastes have a bit of a catch, like a mesh under, and once a month, you have to remove the top and just take all the hair off that. But they look amazing, and they just blend in to the whole floor.
So good. Yeah.
And again, those people, some people think, oh, do I need to do everything? No, you can just do the shower. You can do what you want to do, I guess.
It's super cheap too.
Again, we charge 79, 85. I can't remember. It's under 100, and it's one of those things. If you want to do it once the house is built, it's way too hard. It's going to be too complicated. So it's really something you want to do when the house is getting built.
That's it.
But again, it is definitely something I would recommend. And another thing to think about too is, again, for example, sometimes we build showers that are really big. We might be talking 2.4 meter long, twin shower head, maybe even a sort of rain one on top of that. You may be thinking to have a strip drain. A strip drain is going to collect a lot more water. And as opposed to having a floor waste in the middle and all the tiles are pretty much split so that all falls in there, a strip drain is much easier. And again, a strip drain is also great if you want to have a wet room. So where, you don't have a door and it all has to be open. Again, you might want a wheelchair-friendly type of shower. The strip drain is going to work perfect for that because it's going to collect this water. The tiles are not split and it's a nice and easy transition. And the strip drain can also come with a tile insert.
Yeah, and it just, again, looks so good too when everything's flush.
It really does, yeah.
Perfect.
It really does.
All right, well, before we drag this podcast out,
it was much longer than I thought.
I know, right?
Much longer, but there's so much to say.
I know. So we got 2 more products left, and then we'll close off and get out of here.
Do we really?
So the last one, and I think it is important as well, is the windows and glass that you may have within your bathroom. So if you're a big fan of like natural light and things like that, wind or even natural airflow for that matter, windows are a great way to do that. Whether you look at getting some louvers,
windows are good.
Or if you're really wanting to up your game, even just instead of windows, try like a skylight in the roof or something.
And some houses where the bathroom is in the middle and you just can't get a window. So a skylight is definitely a great idea, particularly now that the skylights can have a remote so that you can open them. They can also have a blind. So the skylights have evolved, and if you're worried about hail, they're hail-proof because they're usually double glaze, super resistant. Skylights are a great idea. And in terms of windows, I'm a massive fan of louvers in a bathroom. I think it just looks so good, and you flick that sort of lever and you get so much airflow.
I agree.
It looks good and it's really practical.
100%.
And you can still add a flat screen if you do want to.
There you go.
Which you can't in a skylight.
Yes, true. Anything else you wanted to add?
No, that's it.
Okay, cool. But no, I 100% agree. It's like living out a romantic fairy tale almost, being able to have a shower under the stars almost. So anyway, I think that's pretty much it. Skylights we wanted to touch on, but again, everything we've talked about as well can come in a variety of colors. So
for sure.
Have a play around with those colors, whether it is the chrome, you go up to the matte black, the brush brass, the gunmetal, you name it, and you can pretty much get anything. White looks super cool.
I'd say go as far as, the trim colors. You can literally change everything. So, if you're going to go matte black everything, don't use chrome trims in your shower niche. Think about all those things. And usually the color consultant will help you with that.
I did not, but it looks so good. But if you've got like a white, sort of tiled wall in your shower, and then you've got a white niche, you can actually get the white trim as well for your niche.
For sure.
It looks
you can get matte white, you can get gloss white,
so
you can get everything.
It's true. Beautiful. Now, before we head off, because this is getting quite long, 45 minutes.
Longest podcast of all time.
Right?
Just talking about bathrooms.
You
see, this is why sometimes it's hard, because it's impossible to run our clients through the whole thing.
That's it.
We've just been talking about bathroom for literally 45 minutes. So, and this is just one room.
That's it.
Not even talking about kitchens and all this. So it's hard, and which is why those podcasts are good, I think, because at least you can watch them at your own pace and
I agree.
And go through the whole thing.
That's it. Jot down, do your own research, have a look at the popular companies that offer like all the different tapware and things, tiles, national tiles, all that sort of thing.
And follow us on Instagram, because we always have super cool walkthroughs, super cool stories with a lot of inspiration. And like we said not the last podcast maybe, but the previous one. It's all about the inspiration, and the more you see, the more you're gonna learn about houses. So
100%.
follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, even just more importantly, what you do like, what you don't like, things like that. But
Definitely, and particularly in terms of bathroom, you know, it's so hard sometimes to visualize how a bathroom is going to look.
Yeah.
It's a long podcast. So, you know, even from like finger tiles and stuff, like you know, sometimes it's very hard to, once you see it, you get a much better idea. So and a bathroom is very tricky. It might sound really easy, but it's not. To get the right colors and the right tones and everything, it's quite a bit of effort. And if you overdo it, it's going to be too busy and too much. And you also don't want to, I guess, underdo it where, you know, you've missed out on a few things and it doesn't look as good as you thought. So,
yeah, I agree. So main thing, to save all your inspo, bring it to a builder or a custom builder. We can take a look. We can help you achieve that bathroom look and inspiration that you like. You know, when it comes to color selection, keep those colors in mind. So when you come to color selection, you're ready to go.
Definitely.
Other than that, is there anything you want to add before we head off?
I think that's it. I think it's going to be too much if we add any more to that. So.
That's it. All right. Well, we'll leave you guys to it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast, and we will see you next week with kitchens.
Which, there's probably even more to talk about. So let's see how we go.
Yeah, that's it. Get a cup of tea and sit down because it's going to be a long one.
That's it.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you then.
See you guys.